Hi, everybody. It's Alyssa
And Jessica.
from Collins Hope, and we are approaching a holiday weekend. It's hard to believe that the summer is officially almost over. It doesn't quite feel like it. We were just talking about how hot it is still, but we wanted to bring some water safety to you as we approach that weekend. Sadly, we know that every year, whether it's Memorial Day at the beginning of the official summer or Labor Day at the end, that we always get reports of drownings that have occurred over the long holiday weekend. And so we thought we would just come to you and just bring up a few things that might not be on the front of your mind, things you might be not thinking about around water safety, and give you some suggestions for things that you can do with your family and your kids leading up to and during the weekend that might help increase the safety around water so that we can avoid the drownings. Because as we all know now, we should know by now, drownings are fast, silent, and preventable. So at Collins Hope, this is our job to bring water safety to you. So Jessica, let's just talk about what we think we might see in terms of things that happen. I know I constantly, when I get these reports after the holiday weekend, I know we hear about open water, so we'll talk about that. What else?
I know there's a lot of activity around my apartment complex as far as like using the apartment
Yeah.
pool. And as I'm driving by community pools, I know that's something that we hear a few times a year as well.
Also backyard pools. I know we always hear stories of backyard pool parties, whether they're gatherings or barbecues. And I think those are still happening among families, even though we're not having large gatherings. And so really, it's any kind of water. And another one that people might not think about are the kiddie pools. I know I see so many inflatable pools that are set up in people's yards. Often when I'm riding my bike around my neighborhood, I'm looking for things like that. And you see them in the front yard, you see them in the backyard, and there's some good things about that. So let's talk about each of those things. You pick. What do you want to talk about first?
Let's start with the kiddie pools. I think it's so funny because I even see people asking about kiddie pools like, oh, my dog's really hot. Do you have a kiddie pool for my dog? And a lot of times people are not thinking about, like, if they're thinking about, like, I don't have kids, I think it's okay for me to have a pool. Like, well, what about your neighbors? What are your neighbors doing? Or do they have access to your particular kiddie pool? Even if you don't have kids that are with you every day, who are the kids that are around you?
Right. And when we talk about kiddie pools, we can be talking about those small ones that you can buy at your local store that are just inflatable or sometimes hard plastic. And when we talk about those, it's if you fill it up and you use it, then dump the water out and turn it over, because kids get access to water, and that's where we see sadly so many drownings, regardless of what kind of water it is, where a child has not supposed to be swimming. So we talk about those being unplanned swim time, where they access the water and no adult is intending for them to access the water. And I know, my daughter's 15 now, but I remember when she was little, and this was long before I did this work, I would think, oh, I don't want to dump the water out. That's wasting the water or whatever. And so leave 2 inches in on the deck. But now I know better that you can drown in this much water. So if you're leaving that water and then a child accesses it, you can have a drowning. So if you're using kiddie pools, block access to them, and dump them out. So if you're done using them, dump it out and flip it over, because kids are attracted to water. If you leave that kiddie pool out and there's a toy in there, or they just know they've been in it and they want to get back in it because it's hot, they're going to go to that water. So, okay, that's a good one. So let's talk about backyard pool parties and things like that. I know that you have a little one who just had a birthday, and in the past I know he's had pool party birthdays. I don't think that's what happened this year, but I know, and you have an apartment pool in your area there. So that's something that we constantly see is people gathering, whether it's apartment pool. And I think, are people still gathering? I mean, what are you seeing when you're looking out your window?
While our pool is limited in the time that it's available, it's like 10 to 4 or something. During those hours, I mean, it is packed. And the thing that for me is a pet peeve, and I'm sure this happens all over, is that people will put rocks in the door to keep it open the gate. Because it's now, which I love, our apartment has the handle and the door handle, and then the top lock.
The magnet latch,
Yep, exactly. And so people will just put a rock there so that their kids can go home and come back and not have to mess with the magnet lock by themselves. And anytime I see that, I mean, I'll pull
Close
that
it.
rock
Oh,
out. Even if I'm
well,
like walking to the mailbox, because who's walking to the mailbox with me? My toddler.
right, right. And that
Um,
defeats the purpose of having a latching gate. And we know because we do this work all the time, but a lot of people don't even think about that. They just think, oh,
mhm.
it's a convenience. I want to go run, get something. I don't want to have to bring the key. I don't want to, but that is creating a drowning hazard because tinies can access that propped open gate. And we use that message all year round too, is even when we're talking to like pool service companies and pool maintenance companies, because if they're going in and out of the backyard to work on the pool or clean the pool and they don't want to, and I did my time as a pool service person. So I know that you're carrying the pole, you're carrying all the stuff, and you don't want to, like, it's a very big temptation to prop that gate open because it's like, oh, it'll just be a second, but you
It'll
never
just be a
know.
second.
And so that is always, whether it's an apartment pool gate or even doors to hotel pools, usually you can access that pool through, sometimes you need a card key or something like that. But I've seen doors propped open. I actually, last time I stayed in a hotel, which seems like a very long time ago, the pool was being worked on and the door was propped open. And I went to the management and just said, hey, I just closed the door. I'm sorry, whoever I locked out, but it's a hazard. So whether it's your
Yeah.
apartment, your hotel, your backyard, your
Or your
neighbor's backyard,
backyard. Yeah.
or even the community pool. I mean, I think between you and I of doing this work for so long, we're keenly aware when those things happen. And so we see them, which a lot of people might not even see it. So pay attention. I mean, it's a
Right.
good thing to do. And also modeling that with your kids. So if you're walking up to the fence, hey, the fence is closed. The gate is closed. It's supposed to be closed because you're not supposed to access the water. It's a great
Right.
teachable moment too, because when we talk to kids, we talk about we talked about waiting for a grown up. We talk about letting adults open barriers, which are the fences and things like that. So, yeah. And then let's talk about just the pool parties and things that happen. I mean, you were saying small gatherings, and I know families are still gathering. And sadly, we work with so many families who've lost a child or almost lost a child to a drowning, to a non-fatal drowning. And those happened while they were at a family gathering, and everybody thinks that someone else is watching, and that's why we
Well, and
distribute these.
I will say this too,
Yeah,
like I just said out, you just mentioned Alexander had a little party and it was the six of us, right? The four
yep,
adults
the
and two
pod.
kids. And even, yeah, but even then, like I was just really quickly reminded on how easily, you can get distracted just
Mhm.
because we had our front door open because we're, snacks in and out. The kids are thirsty and hungry. And so I came inside and I thought that Tony was outside because I could have sworn I had just seen him
Mhm.
outside with Alexander. So I came inside and I look up and I'm like, wait, there's Alexander, and I heard Tony inside. And so it was just a quick reminder of like,
How quickly.
how fast it happens where you think that, your other person or somebody else is outside, and just in that split second when I wasn't paying attention, he'd come in, Tony had come in and Alexander was still outside. And thankfully our neighbors were there, so he wasn't by himself, but it was
Right,
just one of those split seconds. It just can change so fast without you realizing.
right. And no one even like thinks about that. I mean, that's like, it's just we're having snacks. We're I mean, so
Mhm.
many of these drownings occur during that unplanned swim time when it's not, the kids are not in the pool or not in the water, but there's a lapse in communication between adults, or a lapse in supervision by no one's fault. It just, it's
Right.
reality. And that's why
Just
we encourage for, this is the
yeah. Oh,
Spanish one, but the water guardian to appoint an undistracted adult and the when you're in, near, and around water, for sure. And especially when you're at those parties and someone's cooking food and someone's feeding the kids and someone's, kids are in and out of the water, and you've got to have an adult whose job is to keep their eyes on the
right.
water and watch. So we don't, I hate seeing any of the drowning reports when you have one that comes in that's like, it was a birthday party and it was the child's birthday party and there was a
Yeah.
drowning, or so many of them. So, okay, so parties. So if you guys are having gatherings this weekend, okay, now let's talk about open water, because I know I will be making my way, I'm sure, to the lake or something this weekend to get in, stand up paddle or swim or something like that. And so we've got lakes, we've got rivers, we've got beaches. I know the beaches have been crazy this summer with people people visiting them. So let's take these one by one. Lakes. We'll talk about lake safety. Life jackets.
Always. Mm-hmm.
U.S. Coast Guard approved. Make sure
Yeah.
that you
It is my
have them.
favorite thing to go out to a lake and see a family with all their kids and they're all in their life jackets or they're working on getting their life jackets on. It is my favorite thing to see because you know that they've already thought about water safety because before they even reach the lake's entrance, they're already in their life jackets. It's great.
Right. I know. And so many of a few of our lakes, local swimming areas here, we have life jacket loaner stations where you can go and borrow a life jacket, properly fitted, make sure that it's the right one, fits, buckles, all that stuff, use it, and then return it to the station afterwards. And I know the one here in my community at Lakeway City Park, I all summer have watched families going up, borrowing them and putting them back. And a really cool thing that's happened there is the community has started leaving life jackets on the station. So ones that their kids have grown out of. And it makes me so happy because it's being used. And, sometimes we have to go fetch the life jackets from somewhere on the rocks or replace them because some of them walk away, but they're getting used. And so, if you're going to
what? Yeah. Actually, I just saw, because I'm in all the mom groups on Facebook, and someone said, oh, I'm looking for life jackets. And another mom said, hey, where are you going? I know there's a few parks around here that have life jackets on site that you can borrow. And it was just a small moment of like, yay, people know they're there, they're using
right.
them.
And people are starting to see them. And so we talk about lakes. That's like, we're talking about going to the lake to go swim, but boats, boating, a lot of families may be getting out on the water, whether it's on a boat or a personal watercraft, and life jackets. We encourage you to put them on before you get onto the boat dock. So in the parking lot, put on those life jackets. We know families who've lost children who have tripped and fell on the dock and fell into the water. So, and certainly on open water. And I know I just saw a report of a drowning of actually an adult last week in a lake somewhere in Texas, and they were on the back of a tube, like on a tube being pulled by the boat, and they weren't wearing a life jacket. And, so any kind of recreating in any kind of open water, whether you're on the dock, on the boat, on the tube, on the jet ski, life jackets. A lot of people think, well, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go in the water. I'm going to stay in the boat, but you're not intending to go in the water. And if you end up in the water and you are wearing a life jacket, you'll float, which is actually quite relaxing. And I can't not throw in the message around alcohol and water. It just does not mix. And sadly, we see that as well throughout the summer, but certainly on holiday weekends and things like that. I mean, I know there are some boat parades that are happening locally this weekend, and those cause me great panic, but just responsible behavior, and think, it's hot, dehydration and alcohol and all of that mixing with water does not sound like a good mix of anything at all.
Right.
All right, beaches. We love to talk about beaches.
The beaches, the flags, learn the flags.
The warning flags. So many of our beaches have warning flags, depending on what beach you're going to. Sometimes you can sign up for text messages that tell you in the morning what the flags say, and that the flags are usually green, yellow, red, double red, and then purple. And just like, just probably like you could probably think, green means the surf is okay and okay to go in. Yellow means it might be a little bit choppy, some waves. Red is it's not safe. Double red is it's really not safe. And sometimes that might be because the surf is high and we've got hurricanes that have been happening. So I know that I just saw a report of a surfer that drowned down in Corpus Christi this week. And, with the hurricane, that causes more waves. And for some people, that sounds great for big waves for surfing. But I'm not even sure what the beaches, I'll have to look and see what the beaches are even open or closed this weekend. But the double red and red, that means that it's rough surf or rip currents. Know how to spot a rip current. You can find some good information on our website, how to get out of a rip current. Thanks to our friends at the Great Lakes Surf Rescue Project, we say how to get out of a rip current. You flip over, float on your back, and follow the current out. So if you're being pulled out, you want to get parallel to the shore. So if this is the shore and the current is pulling you out, you want to get your body so that you're parallel to the shore, and it will spit you out. And if you don't panic, and you can float right out of it. don't panic and try to yell for help. But so know how to get out of a rip current, know how to spot one. There's some great videos online, some links on our website and our open water safety resource tips. And then go to lifeguarded beaches whenever you can. I like to park myself right near the lifeguards. I like to introduce myself to them. I like to see what they're doing. But also, if you're going with your family, get yourself near the lifeguard stand. I know when my family goes to the beach, we tell the kids, like, you got to stay in front of the lifeguard stand. And we always have adults watching too, but stay there. They're there for a reason. They're there to help rescue. So let's see, what else?
I'll just add, if you're leaving town, if you're leaving the state, make sure you're checking the weather and the alerts for the area that you're going to. Because, just like Alyssa mentioned, you can sign up for alerts and things. That's all over. That's not just Texas. That's not just here. If you're planning to leave town, look at the conditions of where you're going as well. Or if you're camping, and
that's a good
especially
one.
if you're going somewhere new, look for where the water sources are. Even if you're kind of like, no, that's far. I don't know that we would get there. It's better to check and know where the water is than not.
Yep. Well, that's a great one, because so many people are camping right now. I know I was just in Colorado, and there's so many RVs and so many camping things, and everyone wants to camp by water because it's beautiful, whether it's a little stream or a river, but that is also can be a hazard. And I know, especially if you're camping with kids, kids can wander, and that's something to really pay attention to. I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine in Colorado who, now that she's friends with me, she is keenly aware of all the water dangers that lurk around, and she watches to some young kids as babysits them, and she is now like, there's a stream in their backyard, and she's keenly aware of the dangers. And I think that that's something that so many people just don't even think about. And the camping one is huge, and I know that is campgrounds are crazy busy and probably will be booked this weekend, and it's hot, so you definitely I think it would probably be a desirable campsite to be near the water, but it's also a hazard. So let's say we've talked about beaches. Let's just talk about just if you're going anywhere on vacation, because the water, know where the water is, whether it's the family you're staying with might have a pool, or a hotel. If you're staying in a hotel, know where the pools are, if there's ponds or any kind of unburied water. And that's really for any time that you travel. But I hate to see those too, where a family goes to visit relatives and they're just not aware that there was water and a child accessed the water. That's a lot. We covered a lot. The one thing I do want to do is, these are great tips. So I'm going to challenge you guys to do two things. One is we have these on our website, but there are little water safety with Colin and Friends bookmarks. So it shows the whole hand rules, which is what we teach in our water safety with Colin and Friends curriculum. But on the back, there is a little thing where you can write your family's water safety rules. Now you can download the bookmark, I believe, on our website, and we'll put the link in there. So you can download it, print it out, and then come up with your family's water safety rules. This is a great conversation starter to have as we lead into this weekend or anytime. Talk about, as a family, what are the water safety rules that you abide by, and let your kids participate. Let the adults and then everybody follow them, not just the kids. Like, these are, it's a great way to bridge this water safety conversation with really developing and changing some behaviors around water. And then so that's a bookmark, and you can get those you can buy some on our Collins Hope store, but you can also download them on our website, and we'll put the link. And then also we're gonna challenge you guys to take our water safety quiz. It's collinshope.org/quiz. 10 questions, everything from don't leave a child unattended in the bathtub. There's a hint to one of the questions, to how to get out of a rip current, which I already told you how to do that earlier, and everything in between around water safety. And take it with your kids. Sit at the computer and take the quiz. I know when we first developed that quiz, I sat, and I think Ella was maybe 9 or 10, and we took it together. And you can take it, and then you can share it on social media and challenge your friends to take it. But it's just a simple way to educate yourself more and refresh your knowledge about water safety. So those are two things: create your family's water safety rules, and take the Collins Hope water safety quiz. We've had, I think we're over 11,000 people in 50 different countries have taken that quiz, which is just awesome. We've had a spike for some reason and quizzes coming in from India in the last few weeks and some really great comments. So you never know where that's going to go. So what other last things? I know I just want to say that I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday weekend and as safe as we can be around that. Do you have any last minute thoughts as a mom of a young human?
As a mom of a young human, yes. Just appoint an adult water guardian. Even if you don't think you'll need one, just do it anyway. It's at this point, it's like something that we just do all the time when we leave the house, because Alexander is 3, but he is fast. He is fast.
Oh yeah, they're fast. They're faster than we are. So yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful holiday weekend. Enjoy this last bit of summer. I know most kids are probably already back in school, but we got a long weekend ahead. So let's make it here. I'm going to hold up one of our lovely, this is a commercial message. You can get these on the Collins Hope store soon. All right. Have the best day ever, everybody.
Best day ever.